Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance and thetradingpost.com.au. G'day, I'm Fletch, and this is Classic Restos. It's the classic car show that showcases vehicles from yesteryear. These are the lucky ones. These vehicles have survived. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Australia's most favourite classic car show, Classic Restos. Hello and welcome back to more United States of America editions of Classic Restos. Of course not possible without the continued support of the Trading Post and of course Shannon's Insurance. When it comes time to insure your classic ride, your car, even your home insurance, go to classicrestos.com.au, click on the home page for Shannon's or contact Shannon's direct 134646. Ask them about a bundle package and all the advantages of being a policyholder of Shannon's Insurance. While you've got your computer turned on, the best way to buy, browse and sell is of course the Trading Post at thetradingpost.com.au. Now before we kick off today's show, here's a little bit of Back to the Bricks here last night in Flint, Michigan. Okay, here we are, Flint, Michigan. Before the Woodward Cruise, we have a sensational event that I believe is into its 8th year called Back to the Bricks. Now we have the chairman, we have Al. Al, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Fletch. Glad to be here, and welcome to Flint, Michigan, home of General Motors.
Thank you very much. Isn't it great that such an iconic motoring town celebrates and gets behind the motoring fraternity?
Well, we got gas that runs through our veins here in Flint, and there's a lot of gearheads, as we say, and you know, we're here to celebrate our automotive heritage. Flint, more so than Detroit, was a true epicenter of the automotive industry because Flint, at one time 100 years ago, was the world's largest producer of horse-drawn carriages. So the natural transition was to go into gas-powered or combustion engine vehicles, and so the birth of the automobile industry actually started here, and we're trying to celebrate our automotive heritage.
Tell us about the Back to the Bricks.
Literally, it's a 2-week-long festival. Back to the Bricks is preceded by Tune-Up Week, which is a series of drive-ins to local communities, and they're really received well. But that's called Tune-Up Week for Back to the Bricks Week, and we do it on the same weekend as the Woodward Dream Cruise. And quite frankly, they really complement one another.
Two great events back to back in Flint, Michigan. Doesn't get much better than that. You can't come here without seeing these car events. Absolutely fantastic, mate, and there's a lot of work behind the scenes that I know that yourself and your committee work hard at, and on the behalf, I'd like to congratulate you for your efforts.
Well, Fletch, we really appreciate you coming here and enjoying us. I've been to your country a couple of times, and was there 5 weeks. The first time we went, had a great time. I mean, your cousins, and it's nice to see you here, and we certainly welcome you here, and we invite all of your viewers, if you get a chance, come visit Flint. It's got gas running through its veins.
If you want to find out more information, www.backtothebricks.org for more information. There you go. Thanks, Al.
Hey, thank you, Fletch.
Back to the Bricks. What an awesome event. Of course, in the lead up to the Woodward Cruise, and you'll see that very soon on the show. Now, whilst you're here in Michigan, you can't go past the Henry Ford Museum. So let's go inside the Henry Ford Museum now and take a look around. The Henry Ford Museum here in Michigan. Absolutely incredible. We've got Tom Veritek. Now, Tom is the Senior Program Manager. Tom, thanks for your time this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me, Fletch. It's a great place, and thanks for showing it off for us.
I'm only too happy to. I mean, this tugs at the heartstrings. Doesn't matter if you're, not into Fords. It's just a general appreciation for what this man has achieved. Now, Tom, a quick rundown, if possible, on this museum, and that's a contradiction of terms because there's no such thing as a quick talk here.
No, it is a very big museum. We're looking at about 8 acres worth of exhibit space. And one would think the Henry Ford Museum would be all about cars. And we have several cars. And if you're a Ford fan, yeah, we've got some of those iconic cars that you can't help but want to see if you know the history of Ford. A great example is the car behind us. That's the quadricycle. That's the first car that Henry Ford ever built. And he actually collected it in an unusual way. It was actually, well, back then they had trade-ins, and this was built in 1896, so after the Ford Motor Company got started in 1903, they offered trade-ins, and believe it or not, he actually sold his first car even before he was incorporated, and he actually got it back on a trade-in later on once Ford was incorporated. So you can imagine Henry Ford's sort of delight and surprise of being able to collect such an iconic car in his past to be able to get that back. But it is strange that they did sell the first car that his prototype.
What's amazing is how clever the guy was. I mean, the initiative and the ability of Henry Ford back in those times. I mean, okay, on his side he had great timing. The timing was impeccable to introduce the Model T. We have shots on screen now of an exploded view of the Model T Ford. Such a, I guess, a simplistic type of vehicle, but when you look closely, it was very high tech, especially for that era.
Right. What you're looking at is, again, you look at something that seems very simple, but you got to remember when you see that exploded Model T, that over 2,000 different processes and parts had to come together in that moving assembly line to make that work. And people think of, oh, well, Henry Ford and the moving assembly line, that was the great innovation, but they forget that the Model T was a better mousetrap, and it was a car really built for expansive geographic areas like the United States or even Australia, where roads weren't paved, where you could get around nimble, easy to work on vehicle that was reliable, great suspension, built high off the ground, and lightweight, was perfect for those environments. So not only did he build them on the assembly line, build them quicker, he also built a better car.
Of course, the Lincoln Continental played an integral part as being the official vehicle for presidents of the United States of America. Beside me here is the very Lincoln that President Kennedy was assassinated in back in that shocking day in 1963 by Lee Harvey Oswald. The cost of this car to build it with the extra reinforcing, the thicker glass, was such a massive expense that although President Kennedy was assassinated in this car, it was refurbished shortly after, and would you believe, left in service through until 1977.